This is JHouze Radio episode 69. We were supposed to do something funny today, Los. I forgot about that.
What were we supposed to do?
I don't remember. We were supposed to plan something funny because it's like the 69th episode. Like, and
You know what? The problem is it snuck up on us because we've been doing so many different things.
Yeah.
And we were gonna get two women who are a little competitive and do a guys versus girls thing, but it just like it slipped our minds, man.
So what if it's what
Okay.
topic that we talk about where we try to take a scenario, and if that scenario was changed, what would the outcome be? Last time we did, what if Thanos' snap was permanent? That was the last one we did. Interesting conversation. So this conversation tonight, we're going to talk about what if the internet never exploded into what it is today? How would it have affected society and pop culture? Viv, I'm gonna let you go first.
The internet never has been a tool and a way of distraction unbeknownst to human beings before. Most of us, I would say, grew up in an era where we were just analog, right? Everything was manual. There was nothing based on you sitting at a desk, the screen.
Mm-hmm.
And all of a sudden, things evolving, fax connection, dial-up connection, the speed started moving, technology started getting more updated, and now we suffered a whole pandemic, and everybody was glued to a computer.
Yeah.
Their job or doing meetings or social on the. So, the internet has paved way for that, and yeah, that's great and that's wonderful, but for people who are scared to leave their home still, they're just, that's all they have. They don't have anything else.
Yeah.
It's a little sad. Also, on the plus side, technology that allows people with hearing impediments, speech impediments, not being able to see, not being able to use all their hands, have the ability to communicate. They have the ability to be heard. That's a tool. The internet is a tool.
Yeah.
You can use it for good or you can use it for bad. So, but I don't know. I every so often I wonder to myself, let me just put my phone away and not use it for 24 hours. And I don't make it that far.
No, I don't think any of us can, to be honest with you.
You don't think we can make it that far? Why not? Why do you say not?
Okay. I'm gonna answer this question, and then I'll answer the original question you posted. The reason why I think that none of us can last that long, I think that we are all too accustomed to instant information and instant gratification at the palm of our hand. I think that's why we won't survive. Think about it. If you need to call your mom, if you need to call your dad, your brother, your sister, your uncle, your girlfriend, your boyfriend, your side piece, it's right there. If you wanna to be a little more flirty or freaky or whatever, it's right there. If you need you're working on a project, damn, how do I do this? Okay, YouTube tutorial. I just think that our addiction to instant information is too big across the globe for us to really not deal with our phone 24 hours. Well, and that includes calling somebody, and that includes the internet, both.
Yeah, I think it's well, I mean, the question was also gearing towards what if it never blew up at all? What if the internet, when was the internet born? What, the early 90s, I'm guessing? No, not the early 90s.
1950 something, I think.
Sort
or 60
of.
something.
Sort of. Something? The military version of it, I believe, was 66. Don't quote me on that.
Okay.
And then the internet as we know it was born in
the 80s.
87, 88?
Just
yeah, late 80s. We'll say late 80s.
So like
Uh,
I was saying, like, what did the internet try to kick off back when it first started, but it never went anywhere. So we never had that opportunity to see what it was like to become like
That's
dependent on
kind
it.
of that's kind of
oh, I
hard
know
to say
exactly how
though.
it would be. I know exactly how it would be.
How?
Okay, first of all, our need for better, faster computers would be a lot less because, quite frankly, we wouldn't need it. You would
Yeah.
have the difference between at-home computers and high-powered computers, and we'll say military for the sake of argument.
Yeah.
In the '80s was huge, hugely
Yes.
different.
The
You
Yes.
know,
disparity was great. It was
yeah.
very like
Now
huge.
think about this. Now the military will take PS4s and PS5s and racks of them and turn them all into supercomputers.
Yeah.
So I think the need for technology, the need for bigger, better, faster would not be there or would be a lot less. I feel that the only true way that any of us would get a powerful computer would be in a gaming console. I don't think it would be on our desktop.
Yeah.
I think that
Gaming
information would
laptop.
be. Say again?
Laptop.
Yes, desktop or laptop.
Yeah.
Uh, uh, I also don't feel like we would be as smart, book wise, or as dumb misinformation wise. I think we would all be a lot more social. I think we'd all be a lot more friendly. I think that the simple skill of flirting would come back, would have never left actually. Because if you look at the way someone in their 20s flirts, someone's in their 40s or 50s flirts, it's completely different. Because you can literally see someone in their 40s and 50s flirting with a girl in their 20s, and the girl in their 20s are like, damn.
Yeah.
Because he knows how to communicate, he knows how to flirt, he knows all the social cues. While someone in their 20s is just kind of like, on the phone, you up, take a look at it. You know what I'm
Oh
trying to say?
man.
I just kind of think that those things would be very different. Not only that, I think things like Trump would never have happened. Absolutely would not have happened. But I also feel like Obama being president probably wouldn't have happened. Because one of the benefits of the internet is we all understood more and more that we're a lot more equal. Because in the first days of the internet, we're basically chat rooms. You don't know who somebody is, you
Yeah.
know? The three of us could be in a
ASL.
right.
Mhm.
Keith could be in a chat room with 101 people discussing 1,001 different things,
Mhm.
and then for the sake of arguments, they're like, "You black? I didn't know that. I thought you were this or that."
Yeah.
Because there was no cue to that. You know what I'm trying to say? No one would know that I could speak a second language. I just kind of think that socially we would be better, but in a lot of ways we would be dumber as a society. And I think our growth as a society to accept people for who they are, at what they are, I think would be far further behind. A perfect example is look at Eddie Murphy's Delirious. Came out in '82. Okay, there are jokes he says there that are absolutely hysterical, but today you couldn't say those jokes
That's funny you
in
said
any
I
which way,
was
shape, or
yeah.
form.
I literally had that conversation not too long ago with my girl. We watched it recently and I was like, man, this stand up would not fly today
Would
at
not
all.
fly today.
It would
And
not fly.
and
Well,
I
there's go ahead.
and I just said like I just feel like socially between interaction person to person would be better, but we would be less aware of the fact there are fewer differences between us than there really are from all races and all aspects, things like that. So that's how I feel it would be different. The other thing is too is like what pre-internet people and people who were born analog and developed in a digital world are very different than people who are just in a digital world. Is us born analog turned digital, we always look back. Like we knew artists from the 50s, 60s, 70s easily. We knew music, we knew television shows and things like that. We might not have watched a whole episode of Howdy Doody, but we knew who Howdy Doody was.
Yeah.
You
Right.
know, when
Or
and
Leave
when
It
you
to
look at
Beaver.
right, or when you look at kids today, they don't know who Knight Rider is. They don't
Yeah.
know who Nirvana is. They've heard the name Tupac, but they haven't heard one song because they refuse to look back. And the
Yeah.
other thing is even writing has become strange. Like teenage kids, don't write "What are you up to?" They type WUT, UP.
Yeah, that is very true.
Like
Yeah.
the sentence structure and the eloquence of language has dwindled down to its dumbest common denominator, which is kind of sad. So the internet has ruined that part of communication, the writing of words. Even script is no longer taught in school. Good penmanship is no longer taught in school
Right.
It's not. You're right.
because
Phonics.
right,
Phonics is not taught in
phonics is
school.
not there because everybody types, so they only know what print is. They don't know what script is.
My
And
name
that
in
also
chat.
doesn't allow people from the future to read things like a Declaration of Independence because written in script, or letters from your grandmother or great grandmother because written in script.
Yeah, that is true.
And recipes, like people now that are very
Yeah.
creative in the culinary arts, like no one can read old school recipes because they're handwritten. And oh, let me just go to simple, or what is it, allrecipes.com. I can figure it out, how to measure, how to be able to calculate weight, volume, to distinguish a mile, how to distinguish a yard when you're trying to like make a dress. There used to be a store called Woolworths, and they used to have a fabric section, and you
Mm.
used to go
And a
to the
lunch
fabric
counter.
section, huh?
And a lunch counter.
And a lunch counter.
With the best Coke floats ever. Um, and you used to be able to go there, get yourself some material, get yourself a thread or a singer sewing machine, be able to measure
Hmm.
you're going to use to be able to make either a dress, a blouse, whatever, like you were able to do things with your hands and use your brains in the process. Doing cross stitching, doing knitting, oh my God, like no one does that. It's very rare that you find somebody that can do that. Crochet,
My girlfriend
Yeah.
crochets. She's really good too.
see? And
My
it's,
girlfriend
it's,
just started crocheting not too long ago. So
I mean, I cross stitch and I knit, but I haven't had a chance. But I know how to like maneuver, how to make bread.
yeah, I feel like
Sure,
the
you have to
whole
measure, you have to keep time. Like there's a
yeah
lot of stuff.
the whole thing of, like you said, using your hands and just like getting out there into the real world is definitely something that has been diminished because of technology. But at the same time, it's kind of like a double-edged sword.
Yeah.
Honestly, I feel like technology has handicapped yet helped us in many ways. I feel like, in my opinion, if the internet didn't exist, what would things look like now? I don't know. I mean, like Lo said, I feel like a lot of us would be smarter in ways,
Socially.
honestly, socially, because now I feel like we depend so much on technology that we almost kind of dumb ourselves down a little bit when it comes to certain things. So
You
um
with your interest in film would
yeah,
not be doing the stuff you're doing. You'd have to do it manually. You wouldn't
exactly.
have the tech. Oh, let me just upload my
Yeah,
digital file to a
let me
computer.
yeah.
Like
The thing is
you
though,
for your
like,
music. You for your music. You're doing DJing, right? If you're still doing
yeah.
it. So that stuff you're using a digital console, I'm assuming, right? Because it's
Now, but I
easier.
started with records. So I
Right. But
have
you
DJ'd
know
analog.
that. You know that. Imagine that you didn't have that skill. Because now with your digital skills, you can easily use quicker things, more feasible things. You've already done it,
When
old
it
school.
comes to DJing, really the only advantage of digital is you're not carrying 10 or 15 crates
Right.
gigs. That is the
Yeah.
real advantage of going
And
digital.
your playlists and your things are already set up so you all know what to do.
No, I jump around.
Oh,
Like if
okay.
I'm DJing a gig, I still, to use an analog term, I still crate dig. I hear a song, I'm like, oh wait, this one would go good. And it's in, this, playlist number 70, as opposed to when I did a gig, I would plan out only 10 crates,
Yeah.
which is 800 records. And now I have 65,000.
Yeah,
That's the
that's
only
why
real advantage.
that's why I said I feel like it's kind of like a double-edged sword at this point,
But then again,
honestly.
also the thing is too that even if a person doesn't get their music off the internet, you know, when digital music first started, and before it was really out there, before LimeWire and stuff like that, you bought the CD and you ripped it on your computer.
Yep.
I'm just saying that the availability of it won't be as easy, but it'll still be there.
Yeah.
So, Keith, how do you think the world would change without the internet? Because you've heard us, we're curious about you.
Yeah, I just like I said before, I feel like the world in a sense would be smarter socially. Um and I think that would be the major difference. On I just feel like the world would just be smarter. Honestly, we wouldn't really be so dependent on other people and other things. We wouldn't be. I think the whole fact that people being lazy wouldn't be that much of an epidemic, to be honest. As far as what would be the difference in terms of like how would no internet affect pop culture. I feel like artists would have the freedom to just be artists because the internet has affected film in so many ways. Look at what happened with Sonic the Hedgehog. They stopped production to change the special effects of a character that's literally the main character of the entire film. Um, I feel like maybe mental health would still be an issue probably, but it probably wouldn't be as bad because there are so many people. There's an actor, I forgot his name, who was in Superbad, said that he's taking a break from promoting his movies because of the toll that it takes on. Yes, he said the toll that it takes on him mentally. He's taking a break from promoting his films because of how crazy and hectic fans can be in regards to just bashing on actors nowadays. The video game The Last of Us Part 2, fans of that game were literally sending death threats to the actors because they didn't like their character in the game. You know what I mean? So I feel like even mental health would be in a way different if we didn't have the internet, because the internet can sometimes, I feel like that's part of the reason why a lot of us have anxiety or why we have so much depression, because we're comparing ourselves to so many people on the internet. We're letting people on the internet break us down and affect us in so many different ways. So I think mental health would definitely be a little healthier, for lack of a better term, if the internet wasn't as popular as it is today.
The other thing too is we would have a more unified culture. Perfect examples if you look at the 70s. Perfect decade of before digital, where an artist gets developed. So if you're a musician and you get hired, you get picked up by a record company, your A&R person would help develop you. And then through that development, you'd create better music than you would if you're just cranking it out right and left. And culture is also more unified because there's a limited amount of things coming out. So more people will gravitate towards one genre and one style the way it is. So it has diversified culture, the internet, as opposed to it was a little more unified back in the 70s and early 80s or even the 80s where the internet wasn't really a thing.
Yep.
Everyone ran home Friday nights, 8 o'clock, watch Knight Rider, and that was a thing that everybody did. As opposed to now, there could be like Game of Thrones. I've never watched Game of Thrones. Okay. But if it was a TV thing and there was very little left to watch, I probably would have watched. So it also has diversified culture a bit. And Kay, I love you like a brother, but you are a mean motherfucker, bro, for picking this. Because you picked a difficult topic. Bro, please explain to people, what are we here about?
All right, so today, guys, we're going to talk about the top 3 villains of the 90s. Each of us are going to pick our favorite top 3. Basically, this is in our opinions. I know a lot of you guys might look at us and say, why'd you pick that guy? Why'd you pick this girl? So yeah, we're going to go one by one, giving our opinions of our favorite villains. If you guys want to give yours in a particular order, that's fine. If you just want to just spit them out, that's also good as well. And it's all from the 90s.
And we also have runner-ups too.
Yes, if you guys want to give a runner-up, you can give that as well after we all give our top 3. We're going to, for the sake of time, we're going to try to keep it as simple and short as possible as we can. So
KJ, you should start.
Okay, I'll go first.
I mean, like you've actually been pretty quiet this episode. I'm like, what's up?
Yeah,
man?
yeah. But you know what? It's all good though. I'm running things behind the scenes right now. All right, so I'm gonna go not in any particular order. Just gonna throw out one of my favorite villains from the 90s. and my girl in chat can attest to this. Darth Maul, Star Wars Episode 1, The Phantom Menace, 1999. One of my favorite villains from the 90s. Los, why are you shaking your head? Why are you shaking your head?
That's the
He's
villain
not
that was
Wars
built
fan.
up for nothing.
Oh, come.
He would
Well,
have been a more effective villain if he would have lasted the trilogy.
in
and
that case, I agree with you. I do.
But
So-
who's to
Agree.
say that a story is not going to be in the works already?
Nah,
No, but
if they were,
we're talking specifically speaking the 90s.
Yeah.
You know, whatever they do after the fact is after the fact. In the 90s, he was a one and done character. And he had the potential to rival Darth Vader in every single which way. Darth Maul
didn't
is
he?
far scarier looking than Darth Vader.
yes,
Yeah, but
I
didn't he?
agree. I
No,
agree.
he didn't.
No.
No.
That was one thing I was very upset about this film with. When they first introduced Darth Maul, I was like, man, this is the coolest looking villain of all time. It's just
I
like
agree.
his moves were slick. He was just so smooth and so elegant, you know? Like you
Elegant.
almost
Oh my god.
like I'm so serious. Like you almost wanted to root for this guy. Like, man, like
I
he's
agree.
he's really doing his thing. And then at the end, whatever, this movie's like over 10 years old. So if you guys are mad about spoilers, get over it. But at the end when he died, I was just like, wait a second. Like, really? Maybe he just got stabbed. He'll get up later and come back. No, he got cut in half. There's no coming back from that. He's done. I was upset. Legitimately upset. Like, yo, I wanted to see more of this guy. Like, what about the sequel? This is only episode 1.
He became one with the dark side.
Yeah, no, he became 2 with the dark side because he was cut in half.
Thank you.
Okay, he became 2 with the dark side. So very like one of my favorite characters, but very disappointed that they just one and done him. Like come on, put some respect on Maul's name. All right, that guy should have at least went up to like episode 2, at least.
He should have lasted the trilogy. And
Yeah.
Anakin should have killed him and taken his place as Darth Vader. And then he moved on to fight Obi-Wan and everything else.
Yeah, I was very upset about that, bro. Very upset, but nonetheless, he is still one of my favorite villains from the 90s. Los, you're next, buddy. What's
Okay,
one of your
Give me
villains?
1 second. Oh, that
Don't pick mine, please. Don't pick
Nino
mine.
Brown from New Jack City.
Wow, I was thinking about
Am
picking
I
him.
my brother's keeper.
I was thinking about picking him.
My
Oh,
favorite line from his is, wait, hold up. Let me try to. I'm trying not to misquote it. He goes, "Sit down before I make change out of your $5 ass." Awesome fucking line. Nino
Oh.
Brown, absolutely one of the best villains out of the 90s.
Oh man, Wesley Snipes though was just a good villain guy during that era, like during the 90s. He's just awesome in everything he touched. Just pure amazing. Like he was born to be a villain. He really
Yes.
was. 100%.
Or an anti-villain, right? Because he did Blade too.
Yes, or an anti-villain.
Well, I consider them more an anti-hero.
Anti-hero. Sorry, yes. You're right.
Yeah.
Anti-hero, not anti-villain. So, yeah, never mind.
Why not an anti-villain?
You're
'Cause he
wrong,
was also
babe.
a mean guy.
No,
You're
because he only killed a human who was involved with the vampires. He would never kill a human just to kill a human.
Right.
An
Yeah.
anti-villain is a
But
villain
he-
who on occasion does heroic things. An anti-hero is a hero who on occasion does villainous things.
Sure indeed. Preach. Preach, Los, preach. So, all right. That's Los's pick. I was actually really considering that pick too. So, I was this close from putting him on there.
Yeah, that's a good villain.
Viv, what is your first pick for top 3 villains of the 90s? Wait, say it again. I didn't hear you.
Ed.
What?
I still can't hear you. Say it again.
Ed from Hellraiser.
Oh, Pinhead from
Oh,
Hellraiser.
Pinhead.
Wow, that's actually a good
I can
choice.
see why. I can see why.
I can see why too.
He's
I
not
can
much-
definitely see why.
He's not a villain. He's more so of a priest from hell. Like he has power. He has stature. He has status. He's really, really mean and horrifying and just disgusting. But I
Yeah.
think out of the 90s era of movies that I remember, he is one of those that literally, like, just to my core, gave me so much disgust and, like, oh.
Yeah.
They did such a good job with that character. And I think it's from the first movie, not any other one for now. I'm to the first movie.
Side note, did you see that they're coming out with I guess it's a reboot, or I don't know what they're calling it, but it's a new Hellraiser movie. Yeah.
Not
And
gonna be a man.
Yeah.
It's gonna be a woman.
it's going to be a woman this time around. So it's going to be interesting. I don't like her voice. I don't like her voice. The woman
You're not
that's
supposed to.
Yeah, but at least the first Hellraiser, he had like it was manly, but like had some kind of like a little bit of a rasp to it. You know, her just sounds like
But
a
it was
robot.
also sophisticated.
Yes, it was
It was very
sophisticated,
British.
and I love that. I love that about him. He was very sophisticated, even though he was a murderous freaking monster. He was
It's
sophisticated,
just evil.
and I freaking love that. But this woman in the new Hellraiser, she sounds like a robot. She sounds like she's R2D2 or something. And I'm just like, what voice box is she using? It's weird.
Well,
I
mean,
am going to chop your head off.
That's literally what it almost sounds like. I'm just like, what is with her voice? It's so annoying.
God.
I'm
Okay.
sorry. I know we're like killing your Hellraiser pick right now.
No.
Moving
But the original Hellraiser Hellraiser from the 90s, Pinhead, yes, I could definitely see how he could be one of your favorite villains from the 90s. Absolutely.
Yeah, he used to terrify the crap out of me. I was way too young to be watching those movies. I should
Yeah,
But
not
I just
have.
have one thing to say. I kind of feel if you had a very powerful magnet, you could defeat him. But that's just me.
Wow. Out of all the times I've ever watched that movie, I never thought of that. If I had a magnet and Hellraiser was trying to kill me, I could just like probably pull the little things out of his head and he'd probably die. Wow.
Yeah, exactly.
Has anybody in chat or anybody listening have ever thought about that in terms of Hellraiser? I want to know. Interesting.
I feel that it's one of those things that the look, the presence, the action, the stoicism that Pinhead had, like he carried that to the point where you just didn't even want to touch him. It was so gross,
Yeah, it was very
tempting to try to take out anything magnet wise. I would still be
that the Hellraiser movies were very freaking disgusting. Like they were really gross. Really,
It had a
freaking
lot
gross.
of S&M. I mean,
What? Yeah. I would have to agree. I would have to
it was
agree.
a control
Keith.
thing.
You're
Your
on
turn.
to the next villain.
All right, my next one. This one was kind of tough. Because I was stuck between this one and another guy, but I went with this guy because he's one of the fastest men to ever chase down Arnold Schwarzenegger. We're talking about T-1000 in Terminator 2, Judgment Day, 1991.
Nice.
Great one. Great one.
Very great.
Awesome freaking villain. Like I remember when this film came out, and by the way, this is one of my favorite action movies of all time. It almost made it to the finals in our action movie tournament, but
Yeah.
Lowe's booted it out, like showing disrespect to Arnold. But it's okay. Because
Because he didn't get to the chopper.
he didn't get to the chopper. Wow. I love it. I love it. We got to do another tournament again sometime, man. I love when we have
Yes.
our tournament episodes. But yeah, T-1000, just an awesome freaking character, and the guy who plays T-1000 in that movie just plays it
Awesome.
so well, just so sophisticated, as Lo said, quiet, just about his business. Like even the way he runs is just like so serious.
Emotionless.
Yeah, emotionless, no emotions. Does he play that part so well?
To a
Even
T.
when he's
Not to
fighting
make
Arnold.
a joke, but to a T.
Wow.
No, seriously, not to make a joke, because that's
You
the
shoulda-
expression. He did it to a T.
It's pun
He did it
intended.
perfect.
It's pun intended.
You should have just let that be a joke, because that was actually pretty good. That
I should have, but you're my dumb ass.
to a T. I
No, but
love
go
it.
ahead, Keith. I'm sorry to interrupt. You were saying. The way
Nah,
he
so
ran.
yeah, like just everything he did, man. He did it with like no emotion, and for him to hold that throughout the entire film was just freaking amazing, man. I loved it. But yeah, he's definitely one of the most iconic characters of all time, and one of the most iconic action movies of all time. T-1000 is one of my favorite from the 90s.
Yep.
Nice.
All right, who's next?
I
Up?
guess.
Carlos?
I'm next. Mine, I can say with 2 words, Mr. Anderson. Agent Smith from
Really?
The Matrix.
Nice.
1999. It counts as the 90s. The
Wow.
Matrix. Agent Smith was an awesome, awesome villain. That the way he spoke, you're like, what is going on in that head? It was such a good villain in a good film. And you like when his presence on screen, you always got unnerved by him. And when you saw him fight and how well he could fight, you're like, oh damn, there's a reason why I'm scared. It isn't just his presence. He can
Yeah.
back up what he says. So for me, Agent Smith, the original Matrix, 1999, one of the best villains from them.
I'm actually surprised you picked that. I never knew you were that into the Matrix like that. Never knew that. Never
One
knew
of the
that.
Love
best.
the Matrix.
Yeah, I mean, it is
I still haven't
definitely
seen
a classic.
the reboot though, but I'm
Oh
gonna
my
watch it.
god. Side note, without spoilers, I hated it. I hated it.
Don't
I
watch it.
really, yeah. What she said. I felt like there was no point of that film being made. They should have left the way it was. That's all I'm gonna say.
Brother,
I mean,
you're
if-
forgetting
if-
the most important point to a movie studio. You know what that is?
What?
Money, money,
Money.
money, money.
I mean,
Money.
no spoilers, but to add closure to whatever it is you might not have closure from the previous movies, go ahead and watch it. But I would say it's a one and done kind of
Yeah.
thing.
I'm just gonna say it shouldn't have been done. And in that case, who's next?
Viv, you're up for your number 2 pick.
My number 2 pick is
Dun, dun,
Annie
dun.
Wilkes from Misery.
Oh.
Yes.
Wait, what's her
Oh,
name
yeah.
again? What's her name?
Annie Wilkes. but
Annie
she's
Wilkes
played
from
by she's played by Kathy Bates.
that was actually one of my picks that I was thinking about between T1000. Well, with T1000 or her, I was thinking about that one. It's a really good pick.
A, because she's a woman and she is thoroughly infatuated with this guy,
Mm-hmm.
but it gets to the point where it gets past the obsessive compulsive. It gets into like the seriously psychotic, and then it
Yeah.
just keeps growing. And I mean, Stephen King did such a fantastic work. He did that, and then they did the movie. They picked the right people for the movie.
Oh yeah.
And Kathy Bates like totally like skyrocketed through that whole thing. And
I remember the scene where she breaks his legs. My heart was like,
Oh man. I didn't think they were going to show that, and then when they showed his foot, just like I'm like, oh, dang! Like it's like it turns my stomach to this day. To this day.
I that the film established itself so well that no one can like surpass it at this point.
Yeah.
But they did do a Broadway play of Misery, and they had
Really?
yes, and they had Bruce Willis as the author, and they had the sister of Roseanne from the Roseanne show. I forgot her name.
who from the Roseanne show?
The sister of Roseanne.
Oh, I forget her name.
I forgot her name
Thin,
too.
Slender woman. I forgot her name too. But she played the part of Kathy Bates. And oh my god, I cannot express how great she did. Like they tried to really get that same feel from the movie into the play. But I mean, Kathy Bates, Loki's crazy psychotic woman, like
Yeah.
Yeah.
The crazy part is she was just so like she tried to seem so innocent and helpful and just like, hey, I'm just a fan, but then I'm also a psychopath at the same time. It was
I'm
just
gonna break your neck,
yeah.
legs and break your knees.
The
He played
penguin
that so-
wasn't facing the right way.
Yeah. Oh man. And like every time I watched that movie growing up, I used to always think, if I was in that situation, what the heck would I do? Like that's just that's terrifying, man. And like you
And
can't do anything. Your freaking foot's broken. Like
the
that's
famous scene where she's like, "I'll be back in a minute."
oh my god, yes, jeez. No offense, ladies. Every man's worst nightmare. Woman's scorn. You know. But
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, that's my number 2.
All right, Keith. Well, who is your number 3?
My final and number 3 person villain of all, well, not of all time, but of the 90s. Like this is probably going to be your guys' next one. Um, he's infatuated with Clarice. He has a hunger for human flesh. He is one of the greatest actors of all time. Hannibal Lecter. Silence of the Lambs.
Choice.
That was
1991. Played by
Now I
Anthony
have to pick another one.
freaking Hopkins. Mic drop on that one, man.
I will
Mic
agree with you. Amazing villain, but would never have made my list.
Never?
Never.
Not
made
even
my
if it
list.
was like a top 10?
Nope.
Wow.
He might have made a top 10, but I doubt that.
Wow.
See, the thing to me is what makes a villain so great is when they're likable. If you're likable, that makes you worse. Because how many of us have had a friend who backstabbed us? And how much did that hurt us? As opposed to some dude we got into a random fight with.
Right.
We could care less about that random fight. But the person who stabbed us in the back, yo, we feel that for decades. So for me, a villain who is likable is more effective. So I would never choose somebody like him because I want somebody who's likable.
Wow. Okay. I can see that. I can see that. Wow.
Yeah, no, but listen, as far as villains go of the 90s, definitely. Silence of the Lambs, up there. Great villain.
Hats off. Yeah.
Hats off to him. You know, he's the epitome of a crazy white man. You know what I'm trying to say? So
The epitome.
that's a great choice, man. That is a great fucking choice.
Those eyes, bro. Like that's literally all I gotta say. If that man was looking at me, those eyes, like, hey, I'm gonna get some hot sauce on you. I want some dark meat.
But believe it or not, when he did that thing that Viv just did, that made me laugh out loud. I thought it was the most ridiculous sound ever. It sounded like a rabbit having an orgasm. I was like, no, that's just a terrible sound.
I didn't know what to think of that when he did it. Actually, I'm not too crazy about it, but outside of that, literally freaking awesome.
Like, let's face it. Does the average person know what is it? Chianti, whatever hell wine he was talking about? No.
Yeah.
I had to look that up.
It's the cousin of the Pinot Grigio.
Hey, listen, I don't care who they're related to. I don't care who they're related to.
Oh man! All right, guys, what's your Los? What's your final pick for the night?
Mine is someone from a movie that most people have forgotten. The Kevin Costner Robin Hood. Alan Rickman as the Sheriff of Nottingham.
Wow.
With his best line, "I will cut your heart out with a rusty spoon."
Wow, that's a
As
deep
he's
cut.
dying, the drool that comes out of his mouth.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. It is a deep cut, but Alan Rickman is such an amazing actor that he made you love him and hate him at the same time through all of his major roles.
Yeah.
Wow.
Die Hard, Harry Potter, Sheriff of Nottingham. I mean, everything. He was just great at it, you know? And he was a villain where you hated him because he was an asshole, but at the same time, you're like, I can't wait to see him on screen again. He's kind of funny.
I know. Yeah. He's one of those guys you love to hate. Definitely. Like every character he plays, you love to hate his character. I used to love that movie. I watched it a billion times growing up. I completely forgot about that though. Man, that's definitely a good pick, Los. Good pick.
Yeah. And a deep cut.
Yeah, very deep cut. What's your last choice, Viv? Last one of the night.
All right, so this is a historical one. Consider him a villain only because of the topic and why he, well, this is why I classify him as a villain. The character's name was based off of a real person named Amon Goth, and it was played by Ralph Fiennes in Schindler's List.
Ooh, deeper cut. Jeez, you guys are. Wow, I feel underdressed here. What's going on? Jeez.
No,
Not
but
that
see
teacher.
that's
Not-
part of the beauty of these lists, that you get someone who likes the more generalized bad guys, someone who likes subtle bad guys, someone who likes, epic bad guys. That's the great thing about a list like this, is we all have different opinions of what makes a good bad guy.
Yeah.
You hearing that mine is someone who has to be likable, you're like, well, I never thought about that aspect of it.
Yeah.
And well, you love the more larger than life, bad guys.
Yeah.
And Viv is more of a visual person with the bad guys,
Yeah.
someone who looks sweet but is a killer, someone who could be defeated by a magnet or what have you. You know what I'm trying to say? It's like it's all very different opinions.
I still can't get over
Well,
that magnet thing.
um, Fiennes played Ammon Goth, who was technically the of all of the Holocaust executions, and he would just do evil things, like just
Yeah.
outright evil things, with all disregard to humanity.
Yeah.
So he wouldn't care if you were a kid. He wouldn't care that you were a woman. He wouldn't care that you had typhus. He didn't care. He would just put you somewhere and then delegate that to his staff, and the staff would just carry out his orders, and they would have no concept of humanity. Like, that's like of humanity.
Yeah.
And he played it so I wanted him to die so badly.
The best
And
villains are the ones you want to die.
oh my god!
No,
and
the best villains are the one that you think, yeah, he might be right.
Yeah, that too. That too.
Those are the best villains, because you question yourself. That
Yeah.
is what villainy is. Question yourself. Where you doubt yourself. That is a
find
Yeah.
yourself in that same position
Yeah,
as that villain,
you
and
be like,
say the same thing.
you start
But
thinking to
like,
yourself, damn, would I
they
done that too?
they have a lot of psychological issues. They're very in their heads, and
Yeah.
they have to play that they're normal.
Why does everything go back to mental health? That's what I just want to know.
No,
Why does everything have to go back
That's
to
like
mental
the side topic of the night.
think about it. Like, even if you go comic wise and you look at Bane, or if you look at Joker,
Mm-hmm.
they have psychotic issues. They have psychological issues, and they play like they own it. They know
Yeah.
they might be in the wrong, but they still have to own it. And a villain has to own it, and every villain that we've picked pretty much has owned it, whatever
indeed.
way.
Owned
Whatever
it, or ate it, or slashed it, or stabbed it. Yeah.
correct. Or
So
shot it, or cooked it.
exactly.
Chopped it up.
So on that note, let's run through our list real quick. I'm gonna do mine. My top 3 was Darth Maul, Star Wars Episode 1, Phantom Menace; Hannibal Lecter, Silence of the Lambs; T-1000, Terminator 2. Los, what were yours?
Mine was Nino Brown from New Jack City.
Good one.
Agent Smith from The Matrix. The Sheriff of Nottingham from Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves.
Mm-hmm.
I need to watch that again, by the way.
Viv, your 3 were?
My 3 were what my 3 choices are it was Hellraiser, Pinhead from Hellraiser, Annie Wilkes, Kathy Bates from Misery, and Ammon Goth by Ralph Fiennes in Schindler's List.
Good picks, guys.
So
Good
do
picks.
we have runner-ups? And when we do runner-ups, let's be brief, because they're runner-ups. They don't deserve that much.
I'll let you go first, Los. What is your runner-up?
I have sort of more than 2, but kind of 2.
Okay.
Christopher Plummer in hold on, Star Trek: The Undiscovered Country. He played General Chang, a Klingon quoting Shakespeare as he fights. Great
90s?
performance, great
Wow.
villain.
Okay.
My second one is all of T-Bird's gang from The Crow, the original Crow, and Top Dollar.
Oh, good
That's
pick.
my runner-up. You know,
Good pick.
there ain't no coming back. There ain't no coming back. This is the real world. This is the really real world. There ain't no coming back.
Yo, I
Come on,
love
man.
that
Great
movie.
villain.
Love that movie.
Great villain.
Good freaking pick, bro. Jeez.
Thank you.
Get that
thank
man.
you.
Get that man his
Keith,
flowers.
you got runner-ups?
All right, so I do have one runner-up. My runner-up is also one of the greatest actors of all time, Max Cady, Cape Fear, 1991, Robert De Niro.
Good one.
Nice.
That's a good
Love
one.
that movie. Love that movie. Robert De Niro, just chef kiss, killed it. That's all I gotta say. Chef kiss. All right,
Viv, you got a runner-up?
Vidmeister.
I want to say I do, but I'm not sure that they were in the series. Oh yeah, they were. Okay.
Okay.
So I'm gonna go with Ra's al Ghul from Batman the Animated Series, voiced by David Warner.
Okay. Some
David Warner did
Batman
that?
love.
Yeah. From the
Wow.
90s.
Some Batman love in
that's-
here. Okay. I like it.
I'm a huge fan of that series. I'm a huge fan of that whole series, and I grew up with that. So I would come home from school, that I would turn on, and hang out a bit. But
Mhm.
his villain person, I mean, he's just a villain. Like he's weird. He's a complex person. All of the people I've picked, I guess, are very complex.
Yeah.
He did such situations that like I was always terrified when they would talk about him. Like,
Yeah.
oh shit. I'm like, all right, hurry up, get through the series. Get
Yeah. I mean, that's that's definitely a good pick though, for sure.
For Batman the Animated Series, I'm sorry. For me, it's Joker.
Oh, of course.
Mark Hamill's Joker is amazing.
Yeah, Mark
course.
Hamill's.
But
Mark Hamill's a god.
You said runners up.
Yeah.
Yes. Oh no. Listen, I'm not disputing your pick. I'm just saying, for me, in Batman the Animated Series, it's Mark. Just throwing my 2 cents in there and getting change back.
Wow. Los with the jokes, man. What was the other one you said before with T1000? The joke you had with T1000? It was like
He did it to a T.
he did it.
Yeah, he did it to a T. Yeah,
He did it to a T.
did it to a T.
Jeez Louise. On that note, man, we're gonna get ready to get out of here, guys. Thank you once again, Viv, for dropping in. Hopefully we can have you back again soon. Don't forget, guys, who are listening or watching the show live, next time we're live, we're gonna be doing our one chip challenge. So you might want to check that out. Me and Los might be burning a hole through our buttholes.
Yes, remember, we are starting the one chip challenge at the beginning of our review, and we're seeing who can last the longest without any ice
No
cream,
liquids, no ice cream, no
without
milk.
any ice cream,
Oh,
milk,
man.
water, soda to calm the
Nothing.
burn.
I'm actually getting a little scared now. At first I was excited, like, yeah, let's do this. Now I'm like, oh man, I'm sweating.
No, but the thing is too, like, don't forget, this isn't Hot Wings, bro. You know what I'm trying to say? Hot Ones, that interview show.
Yeah.
At any point we could tap out.
Yeah,
You know?
that is true. That is true. But I want to beat you anyway, so we'll see.
May the power of Christ compel you in some way, shape, or form.
Give me Christ, Buddha, Allah, the Great Spirit, anyone you want, bro. Just throw that deity at me.
Viv, we might
I'll
have
take
to have
Ra
you.
even if I need it.
Sending you guys good juju.
Viv, we might have to have you referee that one, man. That's gonna be an interesting show for sure.
I'd be interested to see how you guys like. Can you guys speak afterwards? Does your tongue swell up? That kind of
Listen,
thing.
I don't
Oh.
care if afterwards I'm talking, hey, how you doing? Yeah, that's what I believe in the show. I don't care. I'm gonna try to laugh.
I saw a tootie tat.
Jeez Louise.
I can
All right,
already
guys.
see KJ going, okay. I can get through this.
Oh man.
I'm just gonna fake the fuck. I'm be like, yeah, that was smooth.
Yeah. Wow. Jeez Louise. All right, guys. We're gonna get out of here. Make sure you guys check us out next week for a hot chip challenge, one chip challenge. And thanks again, like I said. Yeah. Thanks, Vid, for hanging out. Los, thank you for being you as always. And we're gonna catch you
thank you.
guys
Thank you,
later.
And thank you,
guys.
KJ. Thank you for being the awesome host that you are. That's all I gotta say.
I tried, buddy. I tried, man. I'm just here for the looks.